And he shared this with me. He said, there's this good book. It's called Workmate, Marry Love. It talks about the history of relationships going back 10,000 years. Here's my personal belief on relationships since becoming a cop, seeing the system, and witnessing the things that I have. It's that they're no different than any other addiction. Love plays on the same neurotransmitters as any other substance. Everyone will eventually leave, so life is a solo player game, and sometimes you have someone that joins you to play two players. I have a girlfriend now. Knowing what a thing is will really make a difference in how we will act when the time comes. As far as relationships go, just dip your feet in the water every once in a while. I won't be getting married again, and I won't be having any more kids. My desire is to do that once, maybe twice, but never again.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Today I'm here hoping to be able to interview Joey Wilder. He is the creator, inventor, founder, you name it.
We have Joey Wilder, first time coming on the show.
But at that moment, I had a choice to make. I either hit this while it's hot, while people are hyped up about it, or kind of let it simmer out. And I've been told by many great mentors that it's all about the timing of things. Some of you have probably noticed that they've been more around business and not so much around boundaries and all of those things. And it's not to say I don't love all that as well. However, my wheelhouse isn't only this one thing. That is not the only thing that I do. I've been putting out content for like 5 to 6 years around that. And I really do enjoy what I'm stepping into on the business side because I'm creating assets. I'm creating these exciting things that I get to sow into others with and also help them in their business or maybe even help them start their business like I'm doing with some of the guys that I've been working with. But in today's call, in today's training, I want to share with you why your emails aren't converting and how to fix this in 3 moves. Now, realistically, when it comes to email marketing and emailing customers, many people believe that for some reason, email marketing is dead. However, if your emails are not converting, it's realistically probably because you have a relevance problem. It's not an email marketing problem. You're writing to a list that just really doesn't care what you have to say because you're showing up just like everyone else. And in this training, I'm going to break down exactly how to flip the script and turn your cold subscribers into cash flowing conversations. Now, realistically, email has a $42 return on every dollar spent. $42 returned on every dollar spent. Now, that's a pretty high ROI. When your email list and your contacts are nurtured and you do it consistently in the right way. Because there's probably many of you that are listening to this that are also saying, well, I get tons of emails and I just never read them. But I would challenge you and say, but the ones that you do and that you buy from, you probably see those. There's a reason you subscribe to some emails. Now, granted, there are some individuals that are just scrolling shoppers, meaning they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Amazon. But realistically, email marketing still, to this day, has the highest ROI of anything out there when it comes to what you're actually putting into it. And this is something that appreciates over time. Now, most business owners that think they have an email marketing problem, they actually have that relevance problem. And I'm going to break down how you can flip that, starting with that 99% of business owners write emails that are either ignored, deleted, or just get buried in promo tabs. And this is realistically because they follow outdated advice that just says provide value and be consistent and send a weekly newsletter, all things that I've said to do in the past. But I will also add value doesn't convert unless it's relevant. Consistency doesn't matter if no one's reading it. But most email lists are full of ghost subscribers. Open rates lie. Clicks and replies are the truth. People treat their email like a content platform. It's not. It's a sales weapon when it's used right. Now, I'm going to transition into what I call the 3 conversion levers, starting with number 1, which is position over promotion. Don't just promote your offer again and again and again. Buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit, BOGO, 20% off, free trial, like all of these things. It's like you're this proverbial battering ram, never giving up until you finally get through the door. Now, use emails to actually shift belief, not just pitch features and things and all of these nuances and anecdotes. Because instead of, here's my offer, try, here's why 90% of married men fail without this one tool. Now, you're probably going to read the second one before you read the first one. Yet most people will say that email marketing isn't working, and they're probably doing the first thing, which is, we have a sale going on. When you could put it as, here's what 90% of people don't realize when it comes to sales and how you can fix this. You're probably going to read that because it leaves some type of intrigue. It leaves a question in your mind as, well, what is that one thing? And if I don't know what that one thing is, how am I going to fix it? It entices you to take a step forward or to take another step. Now, positioning is when you make them want the solution before you ever sell it. You make them want the solution before you've even pitched anything. Now, this is done by stepping into lever number 2, which is story is greater than tips. Most people write tip-based newsletters and tip-based emails. Realistically, tips are forgettable. I've never gone to someone and said, hey, you want to hear this tip that I got from someone else? No, I'm never passing that on. Tips are forgettable. Story is what builds connection. It builds relevance. It builds belief. Now, how many guys that are listening to this or on this call live, you read something that I either posted or watched a video or watched a training, or maybe you got an email and you thought at one point, oh, he's speaking directly to me. That is the power of story. It creates relevance. You're experiencing what I'm experiencing, even if I'm writing about someone else. It may have not have been my personal experience. It creates a feeling inside you. What that's actually called, when you take action, let's say you comment back or you send me a message like, hey, I loved that post. Some of you got back in this community from that type of conversation. What that's called is direct response marketing. It made you feel something so much that you directly responded. You either commented or sent me a message. When you can get individuals to feel something and directly respond, they're already intrigued in what you're offering because the story is what sold them. What do people buy based off of? Emotion. People don't usually use logic. People buy something to get out of the pain they're in, to feel better, to look better, because they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good with where they're at in life. People buy the things that take away the pain. They buy the thing that relieves the emotion they're having or leads them on the other side of it. Problem, solution. Are you speaking about features or are you speaking about just the things that you do? Because if you're speaking about features and just the things that you do, people aren't going to be moved by that. They want to hear the experience that someone had in using your thing, whether it's a service, an experience, a product. Guys, story is what sells. because it builds connection. Now, I had this one founder that I was working with, and he sent a story-based email about failing a launch, and it tied back to his system. And he 4x'd replies and doubled his conversions from using that type of email over 30 days, once per week, versus using his regular newsletter he would send out every week. And it was a cool newsletter. It had a fun framework, but no one was moved by that. It felt just kind of like a thing that they were receiving. But they didn't want to unsubscribe because they had good experiences with this person, but not enough to consistently buy from them. Now, in the final lever of conversion is when you create action, not just content. Every email should move the reader closer to a decision, not entertain and not just educate. This means that you have micro call to actions. You have to ask the person that's reading that to do something. You have to have them do some type of call to action. Reply, click, forward. You guys ever realize at the end of my emails, I say, and if you have any questions, reply to this email. I reply to everyone. Or I say a PS, something for you to look forward to. That's direct response. That's call to actions. I'm calling you to take action. It's called a CTA, for those that don't know. But those are basically micro CTAs. I'm making it more personal. You feel like I'm talking directly to you. I'll never forget when I had a good friend who knows me well come to me and said, "Man, I really appreciate you sending me that personal email every other day." I didn't have the heart to tell him because he's a lot younger too. Didn't have the heart to tell him, like, "Man, it's an automation, brother. You're going to get it for the next 2 years. I love you." But he'll realize it one day. But realistically, guys, when it comes to email, the algorithm in email isn't Google. It's your reader's attention. If you win that, you win everything. Here's a real world example. Now, I remember back when I was running a health food company and I had tons of stories that I could share about that. And I would never share it through email. I would always do those on podcasts and in-person events and things like that. What I used our email for was when we did buy one, get one sales and 40% off sales. Those are the only times anyone would get any emails from me. And don't get me wrong, sales would come in, but I commonly think about, man, had I been storytelling and nurturing the email list in the ways that I know now, what would things have looked like? Would it have felt easier? Would I have felt like I had more of a handle on things? And truthfully, I can't tell you what it would have changed then, but what it changes for me now is the fact that I am able to stay in touch with individuals that are in my ecosystem that have chosen to either download something that I offer, take my quiz, use one of the AI tools that I have, they've joined my newsletter or watched a training. They've chosen to join my email list. They've chosen to give me their email, their direct way of contacting them. Some people also put their phone number in. And what I do, instead of just letting them sit there, like most people do, they're like, "Oh, I've got a list and I'll use it one day." People haven't heard from you. You're just kind of a ghost to them. But when I have people join my list and they choose to do that, they're joining because of something that they're looking for. They join the newsletter, it has a specific frame on what they can expect. But what it actually does is it keeps in touch with those people without me having to show up consistently. It also allows them to remember who I am. I have a sense of relevancy. And because I'm sharing stories that may relate to them in something that they're experiencing or something that they get value from, whether it's business, relationships, any of the things that I speak about, they choose to stay on that list. And because I nurture them consistently, this is what's changed. Guys, over the last 3 years, I've built an email list to 3.1 million contacts. Now, that's a lot of contacts. Do I email them all the time? No. Some of them, a majority of them, are on a newsletter sequence and automation that has various conditions and scenarios, and it tags them accordingly. So it chunks down that big number and makes it smaller with people that are more engaged, that are opening and clicking things, that are downloading things, because those are people that are low-hanging fruit, that are eager because they're opening the thing, they're reading the thing, they're downloading the thing, and they're using the thing. Is this all making sense? Guys, when that changed, when I started to use email to my benefit, not only did I have higher reply rates, but I had actual revenue coming from my list. And that felt more empowering because I wasn't having to spend money on ads and kind of fire from my hip with the algorithm always changing and the Apple update this and ad account getting banned that. That's not sustainable. I mean, we all know a guy out there that just runs ads like crazy and thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread, but he's not. But here's the thing. You don't need more automation. You don't need more resonance. You don't need more conviction and empowerment. And email marketing isn't dead. It's just horribly done by most because they can hardly read as is. And most people are doing this. They're talking to themselves instead of speaking to their consumer. Now, some may hear that and be like, what do you mean? When you're writing emails, you're like, I really like this. I love this time of the year when we throw this event. It's so exciting when everyone is able to come together versus, you know what I really love about this time of the year? Josh, you use their name because you can use that in email marketing and it'll use everyone's name, whose name you have on your list. So that's how it looks personal for some. But you don't make it about you. You make it about them. You're never going to guess what we have planned for this summer. I really think you're going to enjoy it. It makes me think of the time that a few years ago when we threw this event, and let me tell you a story about this gentleman that I met there. Do you see how it's like we are having an intimate conversation, like we're talking to each other? That's how your emails should come off, like you're talking to them. You are telling them a kitchen table story. As my anecdote on Entrepreneur Magazine and every other publication is I am the teller of kitchen table stories. Just ask me one. Because that's the way that I write when it comes to email. Now, when I write articles, those are different. I'm talking about email marketing that is a personal way of staying in touch with individuals. Because email marketing is not dead. It's just badly done by most people because they either don't have the right message, they don't know who they're talking to, and they're not doing it at the right time. But when you get the right message and it goes to the right person and it's at the right time, email becomes your most profitable sales channel. Because realistically, if you are not taking the time to nurture people on your list, you should not expect them to take the time to spend their money on you. You're just not that cool. Because it doesn't build any trust when they're not hearing from you, when the only time that they're hearing from you is when you're sliding into their DMs. Hey, how's it going, dude? Like, dude, I see right through what you're doing. No, I don't want to get on a call. I don't want to buy your thing. But here's the catch. If you guys want support with this, or if you're not using email at all, or maybe you are and it's just not working. You're like, I try to send emails and I just click send. Well, first things first, never just hit send and blast your email list. I'll give you a quick tip right now. Batch send your emails. What that means is it sends X amount at a time, and then an hour later, it sends that amount again. Here's the example. Instead of sending everything to my email list all at once, if I was to do that, Google would basically dox me. They would give me a strike. They would start marking my email as spam. That's why some people get my emails as spam. It happens, and Google does that when you don't play by their rules. I made some big mistakes when I transferred my domain. So now I send 150 emails, and they're batched out. And an hour later, it sends 150 again. That is how you can start to get back in Google's good graces. If you are just hitting the send button and spraying and praying, my friend, you need to slow down. But if you want help actually crafting emails that convert and not just get opened, I have something special for you today, because I'm going to share with you guys something that I've spoken about in the past, but it is called Inbox Influence. Now, realistically, this is a 7-email framework that takes your readers through a journey through 7 days, through 7 emails. And you are not placing an offer until the final email, but each email is leading into the next. It's future pacing what's to come. But in this, if your emails aren't converting, I shared the 3 tips and 3 levers that you need to start pulling on. But if you're realistically just tired of guessing what to write and you're ready to turn your email list into an actual revenue channel, then I've got this thing called Inbox Influence. And what it's going to do is it's going to show you exactly how to write emails that won't just get opened, but they actually get replies, they book calls, and they drive sales. Now, these are the same frameworks that I've used personally to help coaches, consultants, service providers, a soap company, a polyamorous company, a medical marijuana company, a donut company, a muffin company, and a tennis racket company. Oh, and TEDx talks and books and something else I'm not going to talk about. But all of that to say, it works if you work it. And this isn't just a plug and play type of thing. Like, if you're not a good writer, then you need to stop believing that story. Because I have friends that literally can hardly read, that write emails to their list, and they get by. So stop telling yourself you're not a good writer. You're just not doing it in the way that it is meant to be done to where it's successful. Now, these frameworks, realistically, they're going to show you what to frame it as, how to share the story, what type of emotion to use, and it'll give you a template that you can fill in and you can make it your own. This is my gift to you. For anyone listening to this, all you need to do is go to launchkit.joeywilder.com. It's completely free. Any of my guys that are live on this call, I'm just going to drop it for you guys inside the channel. And I'm going to share something else with you guys too. I also have something else that is for those individuals that just aren't great at even sitting down and writing emails. Or maybe when you do, you just turn your wheels and spin your wheels and like, what should I write about? And you just have no idea where to start. And then by the time you get started, you're like, oh, I hate it. And then you're just back at square one. I created this bot that is an evergreen learning AI bot. That means it'll consistently be learning, that I have fed not only my emails that have converted, but I have fed them thousands and thousands of email from some of the best copywriters, the highest converting sales letters, the highest converting funnels, and copy that tells stories. And it is connected to platforms where it'll consistently learn. It's called copywriter.io. I'm going to drop the link in the description below. But if you check out the launch kit, you will automatically be led to the page to check out the beta version of Copywriter.io. Realistically, email marketing is not dead if you believe that you are simply not using it in the right way. Because everyone in the world needs an email. Think about it. Everyone that has a cell phone that exists has an email. Everyone. If anyone says, no, not everyone has an email, we need to be introduced to the person that doesn't have an email, because I need to know what kind of life they're living. Like, how? This isn't Jungle to Jungle where he just takes a pot into New York and like tries to marry a woman with the pot and pan. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about and you've never seen Jungle to Jungle, you're missing a classic. But if you get anything from today's training, get this. Email marketing is the easiest way for you to create bottom line revenue. How much would your life change if you collected an extra $1,500 from your email list? What if you collected an extra 100, an extra 10, an extra 50? If you are not currently using your email list to your benefit, you're leaving money on the table. If you're not even building an email list, but you have plans to build a website and have this business, you should get the list up, get an opt-in page up, start collecting people's emails and start emailing them. Because that is the easiest way to build authority, increase your influence, and stay on the forefront of people's minds. Do you know how many times I have people come to me now because I've been consistent at this for so long? And has it always been easy? No. I'm not always creative, guys. I don't always just have these things to write about. Although I always have something to say, I don't always want to write about it. But in all of that, I've learned that email is the path of most allowance. And it's also an asset that appreciates that you can take with you. I have people that have been in my contact list since I was at 24 Hour Fitness over a decade ago. I have people that are on my list from the donut days. I have people that are on my list from when I was working in this other wannabe men's company. I have people that are on my list from when I worked at a polyamorous company at a brief period, which both of those companies could be one and the same technically, but who cares? But all of that to say, if your email is not getting nurtured, if people on your list are not hearing from you, you are a ghost. And when you finally go to email them, they're probably going to unsubscribe because who are you? But guys, check out the description. Check out Copywriter.io. Go to launchkit.joeywilder.com and download the Launch Kit. It's completely free. And let me know what you think. If you liked this episode and you liked this training, do me a favor, leave a comment below and let me know what your greatest takeaway was, y'all. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.